Greetings and welcome. Bear with me. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by here on TikTok Live at The Real, the one and only, bodacious, bold and brave and fantastic. No, Bloom from Within Love. I go by Bloomy. Welcome. All right, so I guess I'm going to not stall out, okay? Sometimes I stall out because I'm trying to give folks enough chance, and time to get in, okay? Other times it's more about me just getting the info out there and so that I can just go ahead and put it on the YouTube as well. So sometimes I stall out and sometimes I don't. So if any of y'all's coming in late in the game, I'm not ignoring anybody if there's anybody still in as I go on, okay? So welcome. Just want to say welcome. And what is today? What is today? Is it Thursday, April the 28th, 2022? I want to say it's Thursday, right? Yeah. Wherever you are on the globe, if you are logging in live when this is originally recorded, otherwise, just whatever day it is, whatever hour, I just want to say welcome. Okay. Hey, somebody came in to say, hey, I just glanced down, so I was able to catch it. Welcome. If there's anybody still here, I'm not ignoring anybody. This is actually a more funnier, humorous, lightweight little share here. Okay. Y'all know, if you're familiar with me, I bounce between the deeper, soulful, serious matters of conscious ascension and healing and soul growth and evolution and all that. And y'all hear me go in deep, whether it's through tarot, oracle readings, channeled messages, Reiki, you know what I'm saying? Just depending on how I'm functioning on any given day. You guys hear my ancestors come through sometimes with fury. Okay, so you guys have seen the full range of me, but you also seen the lighter side of Bloomy, okay? Which has a tendency to have this kind of dry, a little bit dark, sarcastic humor that is an acquired taste. But in my resonance, it certainly serves and helps just as much as the deeper issues like meditation and, Reiki and affirmations and subconscious reprogramming and all of those things is just as valid. So if this is not your cup of tea, if it's not for you, respect, okay? One thing about old Bloomy Bloom is I'm all right with people not being all right with me, okay? I am all right with folks not necessarily jiving with me. This is one of the most freeing things you all will ever embrace on this earth. I promise you this. Because we're all in different spaces and places. We all come with a different blueprint and template and so forth and dynamics. And it just makes life a lot lighter for you when you stop trying to be understood. That incessant driving animalistic force template to be understood can cause you more pain than good sometimes. Okay. So once you get there, you'll find that you're smiling just a little bit more than you used to. Okay. Now, in the title, as you guys are coming in, you see something. I think I put Jason, M.Myers, F.Kruger. Okay. So this is where my dark, sarcastic humor is coming. Okay. Collective. You guys hear me as a Hioka empath. You guys hear me talk about embracing the edge, embracing your dark side in a positive way. Please hear that, okay? A positive way, high vibrational way. I got to add that. The Hiokas embrace it with the intention of alchemy and justice, okay? Not to play with people's lives or to be weird and, do things like the karmic energies do, okay? It's in the name of balance and putting in people's faces kind of who they really are versus, what they're trying to portray themselves to be. Okay. So that's the nature of the Hioka. That's a superpower that they hold. It's like they're going to be like this mirror. Okay. You're being deceptive. They're going to show you deception then. You're being a liar. They're going to show you you're lying. You're being sneaky. They're going to, it's almost like there's going to be this mirror. It's a trigger. Okay. So Sorry. And sorry. So, with what you guys see in the title, I kept hearing all these songs merge together. And I was like, because sometimes I'll just hear stuff and I'm like, okay, well, why am I hearing it more than once? I'll get messages and so forth. And then when I give myself space enough, when I'm not being a busy bee, a busybody, when I give myself space enough to sit down and get still, then it will come to me. Okay. And in this case, the merging of these three classics, if you grew up in my era, chances are you know all about Jason, Friday the 13th. Okay. You know all about M.Myers, Michael Myers. You know all about F.Kruger, Freddy Krueger, right? Michael Myers, Halloween, F.Kruger, Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, each of those classic cinemas have theme music that's common, that everybody knows. And when we were kids, if you're in my generation, we knew this. We knew the music and shit. When you watch Friday the 13th, you knew the song. You knew the music and shit. Get it. Right? Who didn't know that? Okay? That's classic of Jason is around. He in the woods. He's in the motherfucker and fencing, the camp and shit. Right? And then M.Myers. Like everybody knows that classic melody of Halloween. It's a signature, right? And then for Freddy Krueger, everybody knows the actual verbiage. See, Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, his is the one that comes with actual verbiage, right? So Freddy Krueger, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, right? So when I was getting the merging of the three songs, you guys have heard me talk about how when I get songs, if I'm guided, I'll reword it to fit what's happening or my journey or what's playing out or what's about to play out or something, right? And so I've changed the Freddy Krueger song. Most of you guys, if you've listened to some of my things, you know that I changed it. I don't say 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, 3, 4, about 3, 4, you better something no more. I don't do that. Something like Karmics, I rephrase it. And when I heard the three combined, I was like, oh, what y'all trying to say, light team? What y'all trying to say for the folks messing with divine beings, right? What y'all trying to imply? So as I sat there, I was like, ooh, honey child. And I started, like, I sung it. I merged it the way they gave it to me, right? And collective, this may not be your particular way or style. You may be given something totally unique. The point is embracing that in the name of your own alchemy. Okay? I feel like I just have to keep saying that because all things being equal, there's always going to be somebody that hears something like this and take it out of context or use it in a very karmic way, as karmics typically do. Okay, they take something that's meant to be of a divine nature and of good and turn it into something very insidious. So that's not what this is about. This is about, oh, thank you, team. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. I could use that. Okay, so what may help some of you who like the more natural and 3D analogies and symbolism is freedom fighters, revolutionaries of history, okay? To bring it to the 3D and to help it to make sense. These individuals played a role in history, right? As we know it. The revolutionaries, the Malcolms, the Martins, right? And there are many more. I'm just kind of just throwing out some very known and popular ones. But we know that there were women, just as well as men, people who were freedom fighters, okay? in a time where there was, a lot of segregations or discriminations and racisms and, sexisms and all the isms and so forth of history, we always had a group, a ragtag group of MFers, right? That was just fierce as hell and didn't care. You know what I'm saying? They was like, oh, see, look at you guys can't see the butterflies. I finally got my grass cut. Thank God. I was really not happy that I didn't get it that day. So it's finally done and I'm like happy about it. I'm like, yes, it don't look like a swamp and shit. So there was always a ragtag group that they were the outcasts. They were the ones that, the Rosa Parks, the fucking, what's her name and shit? What's the other, man? The underground lady. And I'm just trying to grab names of individuals that's kind of a common, that most anybody breathing today know about, okay? But there were many, many more, I promise you that. That hasn't been as mentioned in history. Known to be freedom fighters, revolutionaries, right? They had to say shit. Whoa. You know what I'm saying? It couldn't be all this extra, they all had their own approach. Some of them were the more, they had a softer approach, they suffered a little bit more because of it, but they still spoke truth though, even the ones that were softer. At the end of the day, they said the things that needed to be said. The things that were going to be challenging, the things that was going to cause some backlash, the things that was going to create a rift, the things that was going to go against the establishment and the status quo of that generation, they still had to do it. Even if it was a nice and pretty and fluffy, right? And then the other ones, the ones that I like, the cold pieces, you know what I'm saying? The ones with the Denzel tilt equalizer walk and shit. The ones with the tilt, like, quiet with it until it's time. Like, I like those ones. Okay. Well, I like them all. But to me, it's like, look, it's a time and a place for everything. There's a time for everything here. Yes, there is a time to do the swings, holding hands and the sitting down and it's a time for that. Yes. Then there is a time when you want to enact change. We have to first be it, be the change. We need to be it. That's one of the major lessons of divines. Okay. We need to be the change. Be, not say, but be. Be the change. Be different. You want different. We want different. We must be it. Be. Not say, not write, not even pray, but be. Be is a verb. Okay? So, which means an action. It's an action. Verbs are action words for you English majors that love English and shit. Okay? So, there's a time to say and there's a time to be. There's a time to enact. There's a time to take on a softer approach. Only you and your soul can determine it for you. Because it may look differently than mine. And mine may look differently than yours. It may be on a different phase and stage in the game. Okay? But no doubt it's about aligning to that soul. Because your soul know what the get down is. Okay? Whether the folks outside of you know it or not. You see? I had to learn that. That raunchy, dark, sarcastic humor that I have, right? It's an aspect. But it serves. Ask yourself this question. I mean, if we just be honest and sit down and just look at stuff on a natural level and not overthink it or overanalyze it or even over spiritualize it. When we allow ourselves that space and get that real and raw, what we'll see is that, you know what? In times in history, even in our own lives, the only time real change really came is when someone had some kind of boldness. That's the only time. When someone dared it, when someone got out of their box, when somebody, decided to stop being scared and playing small, right? Was when real power and change happened. But every time we have played small, every time we have squelched our voices, every time we decided, I'm just going to let it go. Yeah, they're banking on you to let it go because they've been conditioned for you to let it go. And so until you show them that it ain't happening, then that is, they get down. It's all good. It all serves. Martin Luther was needed, but so was Malcolm X. It all serves. Sometimes you have to have a little bit of sternness and toughness to you. If someone was coming to your home, I like to use things that matter to people, things that touch your heart, things that are near and dear, because this is what gets our attention. It's not, because if you ain't spiritual, then ain't nothing nobody gonna say spiritual is gonna matter to you. But the things that count, you see, this is where we see our true selves show up. Not the versions we want to be, or not the versions we're trying to portray ourselves to be, or not even the versions people think we are. How about that? Ooh, that's a good one. Because when something near and dear hits you, this is where your frequency, vibration, your get down, your character, whatever's all up in the get down, it's going to come out full throttle, no matter what that is. So all the things we have polished ourselves to say and to be sounding PC and, all the things we do, right? All of that goes out the door. Okay? If your home life is important to you, the place that you live, if that's something that you esteem highly, that you value highly, that you prize highly, or that you take pride in, okay? You've worked hard-earned money to attain and purchase some type of a home and to get it in a certain location and furnished and to raise your children and to create some type of a safe haven for yourself and your family. Chances are, if that's what you value and important to you, when you feel like somebody is coming to basically violate your home, you're not going to sing. You're not going to say a prayer. You're not going to kind of, look at the offender with pity. You may look at them like that later. You know what I'm saying? The aftermath of things, when you've had a chance to heal, clear, and secure yourself and your family, you may do that then. But as it's happening, as they're there busting through your house windows and your back doors, and as they're doing all these things, you're not having no pity on them. You're not going to say nothing pleasant and nice. And if you happen to have any self-defense technique or weapons, you're going to enact them immediately. Okay? After the storm has come and gone and it's over and, they go to jail or, self-defense where, you had to take them out because it was either you or them because they was after you. Whatever happens, once you got out of that energy, that adrenaline, that fight and flight, that trauma, that moment, you may then go back and go, okay, and look upon the person with pity, okay, because you understand that the nature of their soul must be pretty messed up for them to want to go and do that. But while it's happening, you ain't there, honey. You're like, they're on my territory. Okay, they're violating my territory now. They're violating my home. They're violating my space. They then went from fucking up their own world to coming over here in mine. I'm about to handle them. Okay? You're not going to be like, oh. So I feel like my guides was giving me this for the collective of divine feminines and divine masculines, because all things being equal, this is not gender biased. There are some actual divine masculines out there that are actually surrendering and healing to, in their path. They really are. And they're ferocious in their own way. This is why they're fought so hard. Something I've discovered. I'm like, why are they always after the masculines? I get a lot of readings on a collective, and I'm like, I think I said some intentions one time, and I was like, who's the target? I was like, what's the target, her? What's the target? The karmic energies, what's the target? It seemed like it's feminine. It'd be divine feminine. Like to take her out, kind of like once they discover who she is, and then like they be upset and jealous of her, because the masculines usually end up, even when they're with these karmics, they usually end up revealing it. They do. I promise you that. They do. They end up revealing it, man. Karmics be pissed. So this is why they go for the feminines in that way. Okay. But the masculines be upset. I mean, they go for the masculines because the awakening of the divine masculine, the healing of the divine masculine means a couple of things. It means that they're seen by the masculines for who they are. And that changes everything. That one little thing changes literally everything. This is why they fight so hard to keep masculines tied up, distracted, plagued with burdens and baggages and problems and addictions. Okay? Because once they decide to heal and awaken, their sight is different. This would mean death and destruction to their connections with karmics, okay? Which changes all of the whole get down. On top of that, the masculine energy is more action orientated. Masculine energy is the energy that executes most things. Feminine energy is the intuitive, the ebb and the flow. Okay, the guidance, the tapping in, the softness, usually, okay? The knowing, that's usually the feminine, the co-creating, the birthing, within. But when it comes time for actual execution, usually and ideally, it's divine masculine. So this is why it's like this whole big old plots to keep all divine masculines fucked up. To get them to renege, to get them to forfeit, to get them demoted. Okay? In disillusion, thinking that, ooh, so then we'll get the wealth, we'll get the benefits of the divine path, or ooh, it'll stop the divine feminine, which you don't. And they usually don't find this out till later. It's like, but it don't. It's like dumb. I'm like, no, that kind of ain't how it works. But okay. So that's why the divine masculines are so heavily attacked. Okay, that's why them burdened down with lust, with lasciviousness and all forms of debauchery. Right? If you can keep them unhealed, you can keep them blind. That's the whole point. If you keep them blind, then they can't see the karmics for who they are. If you keep them blind, then they can't even tell if they're under spell work or not properly. In fact, they have a tendency to think the divine feminines are being and doing exactly what these karmic feminines are. That's the whole reason why karmics do what they do, targeting masculine energy. Okay? So, whoop, that was a little side. But this whole embracing of the dark side, divine feminine or masculine, this is what's going to help you to stop over carrying and over exerting and extending yourself to karmic energy. And please take this with wisdom and caution. Because at the end of the day, your soul is fully aware of any kind of connection and guidance that you have been provided from ancestors, source, and all of that. So it's not about trying to prove something to someone else. It's not about trying to appease someone else. Okay? If you've been given guidance, this is something that we can't escape. But sometimes the only way we can do it is to enact that darker side. When you're still in the softer edge of the divine being's energies, that softer side, this can kill you. This can be where your beautiful energy is serving as a weapon against you, than serving as what it's meant to serve for. And if you want to just make it plain, ask yourself any time when you were too kind and friendly to the people in school or here and there, and you knew your intuition, or you had a knowing and you had a sense about something, but you went against it and you ended up getting hurt, you ended up getting jumped, you ended up getting stolen from, you ended up getting all these things. And that's a prime example of the beautiful nature. That's a beautiful thing being exploited when we don't know how to shut that off to people that are here with ill intentions. We're to be given this beautiful energy to ourselves, to the earth, to the animal kingdom, to the innocent lives, and to the many that are not coming into our realities with ill intentions. But the ones that have the ill intentions, we're to learn what it is that we were supposed to learn because we created it. So it was to either learn how to read energy and to stop overextending to the wrong people, to stop selling yourself out, to stop caving into your lust, to heal something about yourself. But that's the only purpose that they serve. That's it. We created it so we can see it, and we created it so we can heal, and we created it so that we can then move on from it a different way and become something new, not to stay there. Our problem is we like to stay, okay? Hoping and praying that karmics become divines. Hoping and praying that the more we love and give and extend to the ones that have shown us time and time again, our guides have shown us time and time again, is a karmic and to be released. And then sadden at the endless circle and cycles of shit shows, right? So I invite you to come up with your own version of these three theme musics of these classic cinemas. Jason, Friday the 13th. M.Myers, Halloween. F.Kruger, Nightmare on Elm Street, and apply that to the injustices in your life and those that have wreaked havoc endlessly and on purpose. People who wanted to fuck with your head, people who kept fucking with your energy, people who have stolen from you, people who have done things to your kid, people, whatever injustices, whether this is in a spiritual community, religious community, friends and family, whoever, ex-lovers, lovers of lovers, exes of lovers, whomever, okay? And word it accordingly with the intention of rerouting everything they have ever done, ever did, and ever will do, okay? In a negative or low vibratory or malevolent sense towards you. And this is going to help you feel empowered and reinforce your right to defend. Most empaths are programmed to feel like they do not have a right. They're supposed to give everything over to God and to the law while they're sitting duck with people fucking with their energy, fucking with their kids' energy, and fucking with their shit. Just like in the movie Enough, she had to take matters into her own hand in a balanced way, but she had to. Or she would have been a sitting duck too. She couldn't just totally rely on the law because the law was corrupt in her case. She couldn't totally rely on source in the sense that, okay, there's a realm that they play and then there's a co-collaboration that she plays. They give the guide of those parts of who she is and embrace the darkness. She had to get trained to learn how to whoop ass. That could have been the very last thing she ever wanted to do and be. She could have been a kumbaya-y, butterfly chasing, tree hugger type of person. And the last thing she wanted to ever have to embrace is actually training herself onto how to be a fighter or how to kill somebody if she had to. Because people were after her head. She had an obsessed ex-lover that didn't like rejection, that wasn't gonna lighten up, that wasn't gonna let her go, that wasn't gonna give her any peace. Okay? So she had to learn, like, okay, this motherfucker, he don't care about hitting no woman. So I'm gonna have to learn how to whoop them niggas' ass. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to learn that. Whoop. In my womanly body, I'm gonna have to train so that if it comes down to it, I can take their ass down. Right? Whoop. Here we go. I'm gonna do the song. Kitty, 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 kitty. Ha, 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 ha. Kitty, 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 kitty. Ha, 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 ha. One, two, karma's here for you. 3, 4, can't hide no more. 5, 6, your tricks and spells won't fix. 7, 8, you are already too late. 9, 10, you won't sleep or have peace again. Kitty, 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 kitty. Right? Your war music or your strengthening music, informing energetically and quantumly to those who insist upon violating you. What's coming. In some cases, what's here. Right? All right, guys. Namaste.